Market heifers. We've got a lightweight market heifer class called. They were called by the exhibitor lightweight, and then we get into our, well, we'll just call them medium weight market heifers in class 2. That'll be, these two classes will be very fun. I know last year we didn't have this many market heifer entries, so that'll be fun to see that kind of participation this year. You betcha. All right. If for those of us who are in the livestock arena at this time, let's have a moment of silence. The show family lost two very well-known gentlemen over the last couple of weeks, and if we can observe a moment of silence for those of you who knew them, we'll do that here for just a moment. And now we'll listen to the United States Air Force Academy Fighting Falcon Marching Band with the Star Spangled Banner. Final call for first class of market heifers. When the judge gives me the okay sign, we'll start evaluating cattle. Contestant number 186, Keith Page. J.W. Burgett, Trexton Allen, Blake Hadarara, Ashton Gross, and Cade Schweitzer are our first 6 exhibitors in Class 1, Class 1701, market heifers. Let's please give a warm welcome to our steer judge this morning, Mr. Jason Hoffman. He hails from the Sand Hills in Nebraska, and let's give him a warm round of applause for joining us and lending us his skills in market beef evaluation this morning. Like to remind everyone, if we can limit the folding chairs, please, in front of the bleachers. The people that sit in the first two rows have a tough time watching the class. Need our second call for class 2. Second call for class 2.
Some give and take in this first class here, market heifers, but the heifer that's going to win the class, I think she's the most ready. She's got the most to her. She's the most pulled apart, got the most shape to her as well. A heifer's got a tremendous amount of quality, and on top of all that, I think she gets around the ring the most comfortable of any of these heifers. She's got some longevity to her two-feed. I think he's done a good job getting her ready. Really got some base width and some mass to her as well. The heifer here in second, she too's probably the next most comfortable heifer as we get them around the ring here. Really more extended through that front third. Good job. She lays quite a bit of top over, and when you get your hands on her, you can really feel it. With that, too, she's got some shape to her hips. She's just not as massive or as pulled apart, and she surprises you. She doesn't have as much stifle or shape as our class winner here. But two really nice heifers to start. The black heifer here beats the white heifer just because she's more mobile. She's got some look up through that front end. She surprisingly has more top than what you might think. From the outside, when you get your hands on her, got a lot of get in her. She's really well built over the top third of her body and back through her hip. Just a really nice kind of a heifer. The heifer here that follows her, she's a lot like our class winner in some ways, not only her color pattern, but the way she's built and her shape. The problem is I don't think she's got enough gas to make a heavy enough carcass weight, and two, she's wanting to just kind of buck over a little bit in her knee when she stands there, gets a little tighter and more restricted in her movement. But when you talk about shape and mass, this heifer's dang sure got it all. I like to make her a little bit taller fronted, but a heifer with a tremendous amount of product and shape relative to her size. The heifer that follows her is just a little bit tighter wound. She's a little bit tighter in that hip as you ask her to go. She kind of carries that same thing up through her front third. She's a heifer that's got a lot of good in her. Not as much mass as some of these other market heifers ahead of her, but she's got some muscle relative to her size, got some top when you get your hands on her as well. The heifer that concludes the class is just a little bit tighter. She's a little bit tighter in her lower 1/3. She's tighter in her spine when you ask her to go and wants to drop off in her pins just a little bit, but another really, really good kind of a market heifer.
Congratulations to Class 1, Class 1701 market heifers. In first place was Mr. Cade Schweitzer from Larimer County. In second place was J.W. Burgett from Mesa County. And third was Keith Page from Washington County. Fourth, Ashton Gross from Washington County. Fifth, Truxton Allen from Cheyenne County. And in sixth place, Blake Herrera from Prowers County. Coming into the ring now is the heavier class of market heifers. They were called at 1109 to 1379. 1109 to 1379, Class 2 market heifers. Maddie White, Carly Kristen, Alex Bumgartner, Clayton Barch, Tinley Weathers.
We're going to start with this young lady's Baldy heifer up here. I think she's pretty impressive. When you get up on her and you see how much shape she's got to her and how much more stifle she has and how much more pulled apart she is, and it matches when you get your hands on her too. She's got the most shape over her top as well. This is really a high quality type of a market heifer that's got a lot of shape, a lot of dimension. She's got some bone to her and she gets around fine too. The heifer that follows her, I like a lot of things about. She's as comfortable as any of them when she comes in here and you put her on the move. She's kind of in between a breeding heifer and a market heifer, and she doesn't handle with as much as our class winner. She doesn't have as much shape, she doesn't have as much stifle, and she dang sure doesn't read with as much over her top. This is a really good kind of a functional feeding type heifer. Two really nice heifers to start. And then we kind of break a little bit different kind here. This heifer's a little bit lower fronted, a little bit more tubular. She kind of opens up a little bit more in that shoulder, but she does lay quite a bit over her top and back through her hip. I think she's got some shape to her. Dang sure got some product in her as well. The heifer that follows her, she too has some shape. On the standstill, I like her a whole lot. I guess where this heifer surprised me is when you get your hands on her, she's one of the two lightest muscled heifers in the class. I'd like to give her more real shape and more real dimension, but I think this is a very functional, easy feeding type of a heifer. She's just more efficient to me than the heifer that concludes the class. She's going to take a little bit less feed to get there. She's a little deeper sided. She's softer in her kind. This heifer's a little bit more tubular, extremely long. Good job showing. Extremely long. I think there's a lot of product in there. It's just going to take her a lot more time to get there, I think, and develop and get enough to her. But from end to end, another really good class of market heifers.
All right, let's give a hand for those second class of market heifers. Our winner was Carly Kristen from Weld County. In second place was Tinley Weathers from Yuma County. In third was Alex Bumgartner from Weld County. In fourth, Maddie White from Elbert County. And in fifth place, Clayton Barch from Morgan County. Entering the ring now will be our first class of lightweight market steers. We have Daughtry Allen, Kentrix Allen, Trexton Allen, Elijah Verbus, and Lauren Spate. These steers have been called from 1050 to 1125. Our judge today is a partner in the Hoffman Ranch with his folks, Diddy and Dixie Hoffman. Along with his wife, Casey, they've had 3 children. They have Haxton, Kennedy, and Hayden. The Hoffman Ranch has a sale for females and 2 bull sales annually at the ranch in Thedford, Nebraska. They sell Hereford and Angus cattle. Jason has judged several shows across the nation in his tenure, including the National Western, Cattlemen's Congress, and many others across North America, as well as several junior national shows. He enjoys living in the middle of the Nebraska sand hills, where he can be in the heart of the seed stock business. He believes strongly in youth programs and the great benefits it provides to our youth and future of agriculture. And he appreciates the opportunity to evaluate cattle at the Colorado State Fair.
Nice class of lighter steers here. The steer that wins the class does so just on the basic fundamentals and practicality. He's got some rib to him. He's a structurally sound calf that's easy feeding. He's really got some metal in him and carries that back through his flank. With that, he's got some shape to his hip. He could handle with more muscle up over his top. But I think just in terms of just all the good and putting the most up, it's dang sure him, because he's a very useful type of a steer. The calf here in second, like a lot of things about, he's kind of made in three different pieces, a little bit extremely long up through that front end, wants to drop in his top just a little bit and pick that tail head up, but he's a really good kind of a calf in terms of having some rib. He's dang sure got some bone. His angles tell you he's going to move really good out of his hock, but he just won't unlock them when he goes. But I think this is a really, really good kind of a steer that's dang sure got some bone and some extra feature to him. Extremely stout in areas, but doesn't tie together as good or as practical as our class winner. A youthful appearance steer is the orange calf here that follows him. The surprising thing about this steer is, for as youthful as he is, he handles just a little bit stale, and you can see that up right behind his shoulder. I'd like to freshen him up a little bit. He needs pulled apart, needs to be a little bit more steer. I know we're in a lighter class here and he's going to take more time, but he's a very good, useful, practical kind of a calf that gets himself up over these other two because he's sounder, and with that he's got more shape, he's got more depth than the steer that follows him. Very good kind of a calf with a good pattern. I think there's a lot of good in here. He just needs more time. The steer that follows him is an extremely long, attractive steer when you're up on top of him. He's got some shape to his hip. He's got some shape to his top. He's too tubular in his kind. I think he's going to take quite a while to feed, but I see him as being more mobile than the calf that concludes the class. This steer is very practical in his body build, and I think he's the type of steer that could get there if his structure will allow him. I'd like to limber him up off both ends, but a very good, efficient type of a steer.
Congratulations to Class 3 as they exit the entry. In first place, Lauren Spate from Delta County. Second, Kentrix Allen from Cheyenne. In third was Daughtry Allen from Cheyenne County. Fourth, Trexton Allen from Cheyenne County. And in fifth place was Elijah Verbus from Mesa County. Entering the ring next will be our Class 5, let's see, Class 3, Class 4, Paisley Sidwell, Lola Mitchell, Stanton Tully, Tyler Thomas, and William Verbus. And Stanton Tully with this second steer will be in Class 1752. Mr. Hoffman is currently evaluating Class 4 in the ring. Class 4.
Really good class with some give and take here. The calf that wins the class, he does so from a balance standpoint, and with that, he surprises you how much more muscle he's got on him than what he looks like from the outside. He gets around as good as any of the steers in here. I like him as well as any on his feet and legs. With that, he's got the extra look. He's got a great pattern. He's really good over his top and back through his hip. I think he's a very functional, good kind of a calf with dang sure that has added look. The steer in second's just a little bit more tubular. He's got a little bit more sheath. But when you get up high on this steer, he's got as much muscle in him as any in here. I'd like to belly him down just a little bit and clean him up cosmetically somewhat and just make him a little softer. But this calf's got as much over his top, he's got as much back through his hip, he's on as big a foot as any steer in this class as well. He's a very sound steer for as long-bodied as he is. He does a good job filling his track. Like a lot of things about him, just like to build him just a little bit more massive and masculine to get any higher. Both these steers could use just a shot of just a little bit more masculinity, but I think in terms of quality, I think they surface pretty easy. I do like this white steer a whole lot. They've done a good job getting him ready. They've done a good job feeding him. They've done a good job getting hair on him. He's a nice pattern calf. He's one of the lightest muscle steers in the class. When you handle him, I'd like to just pull him apart and give him more real shape. And you can read it too underneath when he leaves you, but a very nice pattern type of steer. The calf that follows him is a very functional steer. He's got some rib to him. He's got some softness to him. He balances out pretty nice from a feeding aspect. He could have more real muscle, primarily back there through his hip and his pones. I'd like to just give him more shape and carry that down into his lower leg. But in terms of function and having some body and some mass and some flesh and ability, I think he checks all the boxes there. Very good practical kind of a steer. The calf that follows him's a little barer when you handle him, especially back there over the 12th and 13th. With that, he's a little bit more buck-kneed than some of the other steers in the class and labors just a little bit on the move. He's a long pattern steer that's really long up through that neck. He's level over his spine and good back through his hip. Just like to soften him up, make him a little bit more functional in his structure. The calf that concludes the class, really a long pattern calf. He's going to take the most time on feed to get there. I'd like to soften him up and get him just a little bit heavier. He's going to be a big type carcass weight steer, but it's going to take quite a while. He's just a little harder than some of the other steers in here. But when you're up high on him, he's got as much muscle in his pin set as any steer in here. He's just a little bit tighter in his movement, a little more shallow bodied maybe than what's ideal, but he's done a good job getting him ready.
Congratulations. We'll adjust our class description. That was class 2 of market steers, so it matches up with the blackboard by the office. Class 2 market steers. Congratulations to our winner, Paisley Sidwell from Weld County. In second place was our champion senior showman, Tyler Thomas from Logan County. In third was Lola Mitchell from Delta County. In fourth, Stanton Tully from Archuleta County. And in fifth, Stanton Tully from Archuleta County. And in sixth place, William Verbus from Mesa County. Entering the ring now is class 3 market steers. We have 6 calves, 6 cattle in that class. Those weights were called from 1279 to 1290. We have Brock Welp, Evan Brent, Bradley Hermas, Tyler Thomas, Barrett Vollison, and Reese Elwood, Class 3 market steers.
Really a nice class to sort here. This calf that's going to win the class, he's a little deceiving because he's probably got one of the least attractive color patterns we've seen yet, and it takes away from him a little bit. With that, he's losing some hair out there in his hip, and it kind of makes him look like he's a little bit off maybe from his hooks to his pins. I wouldn't pick on him too much there because underneath he's built as wide as any steer in here, yet he's still very mobile. He's got a good foot underneath of him, but he's practical, and he's got real muscle in him. He's got real product, a tremendous amount of volume to that hip, primarily in his stifle. The steer's got some ruggedness to him. And if you did make him a solid colored steer, he'd be a lot easier to look at, or if you just changed some markings up through his front end. But I think this steer, you can't take away from his attractiveness. You can't take away from his build. He's got as much natural power as any steer in the class, and when she gets him on the move, he does so with the most authority. The calf here in second, I like a lot of things about. When you handle him up high, he surprises you because I didn't think there was going to be quite that much in him. They've done a good job feeding him in terms of he's firm, he's hard to the touch, but he's still got enough cover over him. He doesn't have the build of our class winner, especially when you get behind him. He's a little bit more narrow based than a steer that wins the class. He doesn't have as much real product. He doesn't have as much real turn to his rib. He doesn't have as much forearm, but he's a more attractive steer. They've done an excellent job getting hair on him and presenting him. He's extremely long. I like him over the top third of his body quite well. The calf that's here in third, when he walked in, I thought, well, the way it's been going, a steer like this can win the class. But he gets too straight up front. He wants to duck off in his pins just a little bit. Good job. And he kind of carries that theme into his hind leg when you ask him to move. He's just a little bit stale. I'd like to freshen this steer up, but I think there's a tremendous amount of good in him. He's very practical. They've done an excellent job getting hair on him. He's good to handle. They've done an excellent job feeding him as far as getting enough on him. The calf here in fourth, I like a lot of things about. I like the shape that it looks like he has from the outside when you're back off of him. He's a little bit more tubular in those steers ahead of him. I think with that, he's a little bit tighter in his forerib. He wants to toe out just a little bit, but I think it's a wash between he and the steer ahead of him. Structurally, this calf's got a lot of good in him. He does have big old jump muscles in him. He's got some hip to him. He's got as much width from stifle to stifle as second place on. I'd just like to make him a little bit more softer, fill him in that forerib just a little bit more. The calf that concludes him, that follows him, he wants to roll out on those hind feet and twist up a little bit up front. But I think this is a very good built calf. I like the top 2/3 of him. I like his rib. He matches the steer that's 2 places ahead of him quite well that came in before him in class, but I just can't do it. When you get him to move, I'd like to see him a lot more mobile off both ends to get any higher, but they've done a good job feeding this calf, an extremely good job. The calf that concludes the class is very attractive. They've got an amazing amount of hair on him, and it's very fresh too, so it helps. It draws you to that calf. You've done a good job getting him ready. He just doesn't have enough muscle or enough masculinity to me to get any higher, but I do want to commend them on the job they've done getting him ready.
Congratulate Class 3, please. Our class winner was Miss Tyla Thomas from Logan County. In second place was Reese Elwood from San Miguel County. In third, Brock Welp from Yuma County. In fourth, Bradley Hermes from Washington County. Fifth, Evan Brent from Lincoln County. And in sixth, Barrett Vollison from Elbert County. Entering the ring now, here in a moment, will be Class 4 market steers. It'll be Class 1754, but it will be Class 4 market steers. Colby Morris, Colton Ronich, Wade White, Adley Block, Clayton Sparks, and Riley Shanedaller. Yes. Second call for class 5 market steers, please. Or first call, pardon me. First call, class 5 market steers. First call, class 5 market steers in the barn. We need Jace Hines, Dylan Stone, Bristol Lesky, Gunnar Golding, Cal Sidwell, Tegan DePorter, and Kara Sidwell. First call, class 5. No aerosols, please.
I really like the balance of this white steer, and I think he just kind of runs away with the class in terms of his natural build. He's really good in his rib. He's really good underneath. He's got a lot of shape to him. He's wide from stifle to stifle. He handles with as much muscle over his top as any steer in the class. Maybe you could make him a little bit more youthful about his head, and for some he could be a little more attractive up through that front third, but it matches his body because he's so practical there. Looks like he was easy to feed. There's just a lot of stout features to this steer, and I think he ties it together extremely well. He's got more natural width than the steer here in second by quite a bit. They've done a good job getting the steer ready. A beautiful haircut. They did an excellent job dressing the steer as well. He doesn't have enough natural muscle for me, and you can really tell when you handle him over his top. He wants to get more narrow out through his pins, and he stands more narrow behind as well. But I think he's a very, very good calf that balances out extremely nice. The steer that follows him, it was a little bit close from the outside of these two steers because the solid red steer is definitely more mobile when you get him going. He's cleaner in his joints. The problem is he doesn't have enough natural muscling in him. This red steer does. He's got natural muscling in him. He's got shape in him. He's a big bone steer. He definitely needs to be more mobile. He needs to be more correct in his lines out through his tail head. But I think he's a very, very good kind of a steer that's got some bone and muscle. The solid red steer, like I say, he's very practical from the side. I like how he holds himself together when he's on his move. On the move, he's better on the move actually than he is on the standstill. The disappointing part for me is when you handle him, he doesn't have enough natural muscling in him. I'd like to pull him apart and give him more shape like some of the others, but I really, really respect him for his structure and how he gets around the ring. Two steers that conclude the class, they're going to need more time on feed. This steer balances out better though, and he's better through his tail head. He's got some natural muscle to his stifle. Just need to body him down a little bit and balance him out so he could get higher in the class. Calf that concludes the class is exceptionally long-bodied, has some length to his stride. He's got some natural muscling in him, just like to change his design and balance him out a little bit from his tail head down through his hock to the ground. But from end to end, another very nice class of steers.
All right. Congratulations. Class 4, your winner was Adley Block from Yuma County. In second place, Colby Morris from Yuma County. In third place, Wade White, Elbert County. Fourth place, Colton Ronich from La Plata County. Fifth, Riley Shanedaller from Teller County. And in sixth place, Clayton Sparks from Baca County. Entering the ring now will be Class 5. Got 7 calves in this class, 7 steers. Pardon me, they called their weights from 1324 to 1342. Jace Hines, Dylan Stone, Bristol Lesky, Gunnar Golding, Cal Sidwell, Tegan DePorter, and Kara Sidwell. Attention in the barn. Let's have Class 6 first call. Class 6. First call to Class 6. I did. I already did. I called them once. Okay. Once again, call number 2 for Class 6. Second call, Class 6. Please make your way to the ready area. Sound check in the beef barn, please. Second call for Class 6. If you guys can't hear me, let me know, please. For those of you who may have just drifted into the livestock pavilion, our judge this morning is Mr. Jason Hoffman. He's partners in the Hoffman Ranch at Thedford, Nebraska. He's been around some cattle for a little bit. They raise Angus and heifers in the Sandhills, and he has evaluated lots of different exhibitions all over North America. Please give him a warm welcome. He's
really an exceptional class here for anywhere, I think. Give these young kids a round of applause. This is a really good class because there's a lot of give and take, but your quality, you get to really spend some time sorting and evaluating and comparing the differences, and that's what makes judging worth it to me. But there's some give and take in these two steers, and I could dang sure put them together. I like a lot of things about both these steers, but I like the look and the freshness and the muscle this black steer handles with over his top, and especially from his stifle. He's a wider base steer as well. He's comfortable enough on his feet and legs. When he first come in, I thought, does he have enough in his forerib? Does he have enough down low? I think he makes up for everything. I think he's adequate. And I think he makes up for everything else up high. Really good steer. He's got some real muscle in him. I think we've driven muscle out a lot of these cattle, and in some ways he's one that makes you think maybe he doesn't have enough when you get right on him. He's got plenty, and he's got a lot of shape with it. The steer here in second, I like a whole lot about. He's a very practical steer. This calf runs downhill. He's planer up through that front third. I'd like to make him a little bit taller at the point of his shoulder. But the biggest thing for me is I'd like to pull him apart underneath and give him some more natural base width. He is so good all the way from his forerib back to his flank. He's a very practical calf that I'm sure was easy to feed. They've done an immaculate job getting him ready, just like our class winner. Those are the things that sort him. We got to get some muscle back in these cattle, and I think that definitely have an advantage to our class winner and some base width. Two very good, useful type of steers that vary quite a bit in their type and kind. I like this orange steer a whole lot off the side. You can kind of tell he's getting a little bit stale right behind his shoulder into his top, and when you get on there and you handle him, the same holds true. I'd like to freshen him up through his front end just a little bit. He's wanting to splay out just a little bit in terms of some maturity in his lower shoulder. I'd like to put more natural muscling in him like our class winner, but like to make him a little bit fresher like our second place steer. He puts those two steers together. If he was more comfortable off of his feet and legs and kind of there in that chine bone, I think it would definitely be an advantage. Very good kind of a steer, young lady, and you're doing a really good job with him. An immaculate fit, presented, well-fed steers here. There's the steer in fourth. He does not have enough to me. When you get this steer to go, you can really tell, too, he doesn't have enough bone. I'd like to freshen him up through his front end as well, but I'd like to pull him apart everywhere. He needs more muscle throughout, primarily over his top and back to his pins, but this is a very good steer. They've done an excellent job getting him ready and a lot of hard work put in on that calf. More tubular design steer is the steer that follows him here. He's got shape to him. He's a lot like our class winner up high where he does have some shape. He just doesn't balance out as nice. He's more mature and plainer up through that head. I'd like to pull him apart underneath, give him more base width, make him just a little bit sappier middled as well. But he's so correct in his lines and smooth made, he beats the gray steer here. This calf gets coarser up in his tail head. He wants to drag those hind legs when you ask him to go. But the thing I liked about this steer is how he handled up over his top. He's got muscle in him, just doesn't blend together quite as good as some of the other steers ahead of him. Exceptionally long-bodied, a lot up high, just needs to be more correct in his movement. Calf that follows the class, I like this steer a whole lot. He just needs more time. He needs opened up. He's pretty open over those ribs yet. I'd like to soften him up and freshen him up, make him a little bit more limber off that front end. But from end to end, an excellent class of steers.
All right. Those kids deserve a round of applause. That was a high-quality class of cattle. They've done an excellent job. That's a beautiful set of steers. Our class winner was Mr. Dylan Stone from Weld County. In second was Cal Sidwell, your reserve champion senior showman, by the way, and he hails from Weld County. In third was Tegan DePorter from Weld County. Fourth, Bristol Lesky from La Plata County. In fifth place was Miss Kara Sidwell from Weld County. Sixth place, Gunnar Golding from Lincoln County. And rounding out the class was Mr. Jace Hines from Boulder County. Entering the ring now is Class 6 market steers. We've got 6 entries. These cattle called their weights at 1345 to 1395. Camden Gross, Jake King with 2 cattle, 2 steers in the class, Tressie Golding, Cruz Weber, and Violet McQuate. Attention in the beef barn. Could we please have the first call for Class 7? We have 7 steers entered in that class. First call, Class 7. Leave your spray cans at the show box, please.
really a calf that just excels the class the longer you're out here in terms of the way he's built underneath. Maybe he could have a little bit better foot underneath of him, but it gets him around really, really good. I love this steer's build. I love him up through his front end. He looks like a fat steer to me. He's a masculine made steer. He's got some forearm in him. He's got some forerib in him. Carries it good back to his flank. But I think the fun things about this steer not only are his movement, but once you get up high on this steer, is that top and that natural hip that he's got in him. With that, he carries it down to a lot of base width. He's the real deal in terms of how he's made. He's practical, but still got enough look for me, and he's so good everywhere else. That body and that build, that kind of rib and muscle just don't always go together. The calf here in second, I like a lot of things about. He doesn't handle with near as much muscle over his loin as our class winner. Good job, sweetheart. This is a really good kind of a steer, though, in terms of look. He doesn't appear to be as fresh-haired as that steer up there because it's a little wavier and kinkier, but I guarantee they put a lot of time in on this steer and getting hair grown on him. I like him a whole lot. Up high, I really like how he handles himself together, or how he handles himself on the move over his spine and back through his loin. I think he's a calf that's very correct in his lines. He's good enough on his structure when we get him out here too, but he just gives up the overpower and build of our class winner. Two really good steers. They're just more correct than this calf here in third. I like the product in this steer here in third a whole lot. But he's a little deceiving because he'll almost cross his hind legs. So does he have enough down low? I don't know. It dang sure looks like it up high because he's got as much or more shape up high than our class winner. And that's back here in his hip because he doesn't read with as much over his top. This is a really good kind of a steer, though. On the standstill, I like him a whole lot. And he did catch my eye when he came in, but he just fundamentally falls short of the two steers ahead of him the longer we leave him out here. This big gray steer is a big outline steer, got a tremendous amount of length and performance in him, and I like that about him. It's time we get some more performance back in these cattle, and I think this is a steer that's still got some gas left to him. He's a little bit heifer feeling over his top and over his loin. I'd like to put some more natural muscle up high in him, and I'd like to pull him apart underneath. But a very attractive steer. They've done a good job getting ready. The calf here that follows him I like a whole lot about, and he follows this steer extremely good. He's just a little bit straighter up in that front end, wants to toe out just a little bit, and he's a little bit more stale in his cover. But he's a calf that's exceptionally long outlined. He's good from his hooks to his pins, just needs pulled apart and freshened up a little bit. Calf that concludes the class, dang sure got an advantage in shape of muscling over these two steers, these other two gray steers ahead of him. He wants to open up too much in that chest, and I think it's causing him some structural issues out of his front end. Like to loosen him up in his hock as well. But from end to end, a very usable set of steers with a tremendous amount of quality up on the front.
All right, let's give Class 6 a round of applause, please. In first place, Miss Violet McQuate from Douglas County. In second was Mr. Jake King from Washington County, and he was also third. In fourth place was Cruz Weber, and in fifth place, Tressie Golding from Lincoln County, and in sixth place, Camden Gross from Washington County. Entering the ring now is Class 7. These steers were called at 14:01 to 14:44. 7 head should be entered in the class for Jason to evaluate. Attention in the beef barn. First call for Class 8. Please do not enter through the middle door. Leave your spray cans at home. First call for Class 8. We need Jake King, Dylan Stone, Charlie Rogers, J.D. Burgett, Riley Harmon, and Tinley Becker. First call, Class 8.
Another extremely good class, and you know these steers. I mean, when they get presented like this and the times put in, they start to look a little bit more similar, maybe from the outside. But I think they sort themselves extremely nice once you get going here. This class winner could be just a little bolder made for me, but when you get him moving, he is flawless. And I think he's so good and he's so correct in his lines and he's so sound structured and he's got enough everywhere. And he could be a little bit stouter like some of the other ones we've seen. He could be stouter like the steer here in second. He's not, but he's about as ideal made as you can make one in terms of profile and look. Structural soundness, huge advantage. As sound as any steer we've seen yet today. The calf here in second, I like this build a whole lot. When you get him going, he gets a little bit tighter because he's got more muscle. That could be part of it. He runs downhill just a little bit. He's got a little bit more sheath. There's just more things to take away from this calf than there is our class winner. But I think he follows type extremely good. They've done an excellent job presenting this steer. Got a really good fresh hair coat to him. He handles exceptionally good. Love the natural muscle in this steer. Love the forearm. I don't mind shouldering him at all like that. I wish he would tie together just a little bit better to it. But a really, really good kind of a steer. The steer here in third, he's just too tight. He looks like he's about ready to buck. He's tight in his spine, he's tight in his hip, but he matches the theme that the two in front of him set. I'd like to loosen him up, though, when you get him going. If you could rock him back in that shoulder just a little bit, loosen him up in his hip, it would fix his top. This calf's got a lot to him. He's a wide-built steer. Got some natural muscling in him, as big-topped as any in the class. And that's dang sure what separates him here. Where did we lose our Baldy? Oh, sorry. Focusing on these. This steer here I like a lot about. He wants to kind of toe out just a little bit, and he opens up in that shoulder. He's extremely long. He could be a little bit deeper flank like some of the other steers. But I think where this steer is so impressive is the back 2/3 of him. When you handle this steer, he's got as much natural muscling as anything in the class. You get behind him, you can tell how dense he is in his muscle. That's real, and I think there's a lot of good to that. But when you get into this caliber of calves, he just needs to be a little bit more fluent in his movement, primarily out of his front end. Definitely excels in terms of muscle over the solid black calf here, pattern-wise, and from the outside, the steer holds him in that class for a long time. But when you get up on him, and you can tell some when he moves too, he just doesn't have enough bone, he doesn't have enough power, and he doesn't have enough natural muscling. Now, where this calf is really good is how practical he is. He's good enough looking up through his front end. He's got a nice sweep to his rib. He's got some depth of body, and just like to pull him apart. But he's fresher and more fluent than the Charolais cross calf here. I like a lot of things about this calf too. He's rugged, he's dense, he's got muscle to him. He just needs to be fresher, and he needs to be better out of that front end to get himself any higher. He wants to twist out just a little bit, like to put a bigger foot underneath him as well. The calf that concludes the class, relative to his size, has rib, he's got muscle, he's a very practical, good kind of a steer. Doesn't have as much look and quality as the calves ahead of him.
All right, let's give a big round of applause for that class. That was deep, deep class. Our class winner was Cal Sidwell from Weld County. Our second place was Mr. Trace Johnson from Rio Grande County. In third place was Colby Weber from Phillips County. Fourth, Hadley Gable from Weld County. Fifth, Diem Shoup from Logan County. Sixth, Camden Welt from Yuma County. And in seventh place, Brielle Lucero from Rio Blanco County. Entering the ring now is Class 8, Market Steers. We got 6 head, Jake King, Dylan Stone, Charlie Rogers, J.W. Burgett, Riley Harmon, and Tinley Becker. Class 8. Attention, in the beef barn. First call for Class 9. Make your way to the ready area, please. Class 9, first call. Make your way to the ready area, please. 2 liquor stores there.
And a huge shopping mall, you know.
There are 2 beer stores.
Put it this way: the town I live in, no liquor stores,
I
but
know.
2 churches.
Yeah, I've seen him right on the intersection. You can go to the left or you can go to the right.
Actually, and that's great. I have cows for neighbors. Except for I also have tumbleweeds. Yeah, and the tumbleweeds comes from cows. Yeah, so they need to eat more weeds. Yes. And then I think some of them are coming in from Wyoming. At one point in time, there were about 1,000 that were ready to go. I'll show you pictures. What happened to my house overnight? I've heard this. I could have probably decorated 10,000 snowmen in some time. I had that many in my yard. Yes, please. Yeah, I understand those. I figured you got pulled somewhere. Yep. Okay, I'm ready whenever you are. Uh-huh. Okay. Okay.
Attention in the barns, second call, class 9. Our heavyweight class, last class of the day. Second call, class 9. We have 5 entries in class 9.
Okay.
no, they're extremely good class, and it makes it a little bit tough. What makes it tough is this calf up here in front won't just get out and go. But when he wants to leave the ring, I think he's plenty comfortable. He's going to win your class. I like the density of this steer. I like the mass. I like the volume. I think he's about ideal to me in a lot of ways. He's got a little bit more chest and a little bit more throat than the steer there in second. That doesn't bother me one bit because he's got a lot to back it up. I like how good he is in that forerib. Carries back to his flank. He's got some bone underneath him. He's got a good foot. He's wide built. He's practical, yet has plenty of look to be out here, plenty of power to continue to go on here today. We'll see what happens, but this is a really good kind of a steer. I like how robust built he is, and I like the natural mass and volume he has to his rib. I like this steer a whole lot here in second, too. Even though his neck comes out higher and he looks a little cleaner up there, the steer probably doesn't move as good out of his front end, and his shoulder is the calf that wins the class. This calf's just a little bit tighter. Right here he wants to run down hill just a little bit. That's not really what gets him beat. I'd like to just soften him up, make him just a little bit more sappy as well. But he is a toned steer. He's got shape to him. He's got a lot of stifle into him relative to his build. He's really expressive in his muscle as well. When you get back off of him, I just don't think he's the man that our class winner is. The steer here in third, I like a lot of things about. He matches the class winner a whole lot, and when you study him at first, but the longer he's out here, he puts himself in pieces. He wants to break a little bit in that top. I'd like to see him tie together just a little bit better in that shoulder. I think holding that tail head up even makes him look like he runs downhill more. Like I say, that's not what gets him beat. That's just the little things. But this steer's got some forearm to him. He's got some shape. He's got some muscle to him. He's going to hang a really shapely carcass, but he kind of puts himself in pieces the longer we're out here. Really a smooth handling steer, probably as fresh a handling steer as we've had yet today, is this cream-colored calf here. I like a lot about him. He doesn't have the muscle, doesn't have the youthfulness of the steers ahead of him. He's a very practical, big, high-performance steer that's good for a lot of reasons. Just gets outclassed a little bit here today. This white-tailed calf here balances up just a little bit nicer, primarily out of his front end than the steer that concludes the class. These are two very useful type of steers. The steer here's got more volume to his hip, got a little bit more spring to his rib as well. The calf that concludes the class just gets a little bit straighter off both ends. I really like this young lady. I like visiting with her. I like how she handles herself, and I think this is the good that comes out of the steer shows for me, is the quality of people like this. Good job with your steer and good job feeding him.
Wow, that was fun. The tension was up there, wasn't it, folks, in Class 8. So our winner was Jake King from Washington County. In second place was Mr. Dylan Stone from Weld County. Third place in that trio of calves was Tinley Becker from Phillips County. And fourth was J.W. Burgett from Mesa. Fifth, Charlie Rogers from Rio Blanco County. And sixth, Riley Harmon from Rio Grande County. Entering the ring now is our final class of market steers for the Colorado State Fair 2025. This is your true heavyweight class. These cattle were called at 1501 to 1695. 1501 to 1695, Class 9.
This gray steer ties the most good together. He's really got a lot of reach out of that front end. He's a big high performance steer, and I admire that. With his size and his frame, he maintains plenty of body. He's ample in terms of his muscle. Maybe not as expressive as some we've seen, but everything fits. An extremely well balanced steer. She's done a good job getting hair on and a good job feeding. Really a nice balanced steer, and he just flows so much smoother in the steer here. And second, when you ask him to go, this calf's a little bit more tubular in his build. He does have some shape, especially up in those jump muscles and stifle. He got a lot of shape to him. Doesn't balance out quite as nice and doesn't handle himself as well on the move as our class winner. The steer here in third holds himself together really good on the standstill. When you ask him to go, he gets just a little bit straighter than what's ideal. He's just a little bit stale at this stage of the game. Like to freshen him up, like to soften him up just a little bit. But in terms of balance, I think he fits together better than the two steers that conclude the class. These are extremely big frame steers. I think there's more shape and more top in the black steer. He's got more natural width in him. Really, really good kind of a steer. Relative to his size, he holds his top together extremely well. Good out from his hooks to pins as well. Like to pull them apart a little bit underneath. The red and white calf really handles extremely nice. This is a big frame steer, but it's okay to have him big if everything fits together the way it does. Handles good, like to pull him apart, like to give him a shot more bone, but he does move good for a big calf. Really, really good class from end to end.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hoffman. That concludes Class 9 in our heavyweight class. We'll have a 30-minute break. At 11:15, we'll do first call for the grand drive. Congratulations to our exhibitors in our heavyweight division. Our class winner was Miss Tatum DePorter from Weld County. In second place, Brock Fassett from Montrose County. In third was Adeline Lee from El Paso County. Fourth place, Riley Harmon from Rio Grande County. And in fifth place, Ryland Krebs from Weld County. We will take a 30-minute break, or a little over 30 minutes. We'll do first call at 11:15, and I'll bet we get a grand champion in reserve before noon. Thank you, Mr. Hoffman. He hails from Thedford, Nebraska. He's been around a cow or two. His family sells Hereford and Angus cattle, and he has judged several shows across the nation. They include the National Western, Cattlemen's Congress, and many others across North America, and he does several junior national show evaluations as well. He loves being in the heart of the seed stock business. He enjoys youth contests, and he loves it when he is hired, and he appreciates the opportunity to be here at the 2025 Colorado State Fair as your market beef judge. Our second place in Class 2 market heifers, Tinley Weathers. In our first class of lightweight market steers, we have Kentrix Allen. In Class 2 market steers, we have Tyler Thomas. Class 3 market steers, Reese Elwood. In Class 4 market steers, Colby Morris. In Class 5, Cal Sidwell from Weld County. And in Class 6, Jake King from Washington County. Class 7, Trace Johnson. Class 8, be Dylan Stone. And in Class 9, Mr. Brock Fassett. Those were your second place in class. Let's give them a warm round of applause. One of those calves will move up into the grand drive. Now, for our class winners, In Class 1 market heifers, we have Cade Schweitzer. Oh, excuse me.
Did you announce FFA was at 1?
No?
Okay, no worries.
Need to get our class winners organized, I guess. Jumped the gun on that. Forgive me, please. Okay, we'll start over. In Class 1 of market heifers, we have Mr. Cade Schweitzer from Larimer County. He's your class winner. In Class 2 market heifers, Carly Kristen from Weld County. Class 1 of market steers, Miss Lauren Spate from Delta County. Class 2 of market steers, Miss Paisley Sidwell from Weld County. Class 3 of market steers, Miss Tyla Thomas from Logan County. Class 4 market steers, Adley Block from Yuma County. Class 5 market steers, class winner Dylan Stone from Weld County. Class 6 market steers, Violet McQuate from Douglas County. Class 7 market steers, Cal Sidwell from Weld County. Class 8 market steers, Jake King from Washington County. And in Class 9, in the heavyweight class, Miss Tatum DePorter from Weld County. These are all your class winners for the 2025 Colorado State Market Beef Grand Drive. We're waiting on Miss DePorter. The heavyweight class winner. He's moving a few people out of the road. They'll make it here in just a minute. Okay. All right, class complete. These are your class winners. We are in the grand drive of the 2025 Market Beef Show. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome our State Fair Commissioners, Callie Hale, Mr. Michael Sleep, Darius Allen, and Aaron Machowski. Let's give them a warm round of applause. And Tom Kim. Tom Kim is here. He's been here most of the morning. Let's give them a big round of applause, please. I'd like to mention that as a local fair board member for 13 years in my county, these people, these commissioners that have joined these shows are appointed volunteers. They volunteer their time away from their homes and businesses to put on and make decisions about the Colorado State Fair. You guys need to understand that is a time eater, and it says a lot about their dedication to the quality of this show. Thank you very much.
What an excellent lineup of steers and kids out here. Why don't you give them a big round of applause? The kids and building these kids are what it's all about. And, you know, for decades, people have been pushed to go get other careers and go do other things. And there's more avenues in agriculture right now than there probably ever has been. You just got to get more creative to do it. And you need to get these kids interested in coming back to the places. And if they don't have a place to come back to, you as people are selling steers and breeders and all that, you need to be looking out for these other kids, not just the ones you sell to. You need to be building the whole industry. And you get in this caliber of kids, I think it speaks volumes why agriculture can hold itself together now. There are so many facets you can go on and do, and if they come out of this livestock ring, these kids have a definite advantage to go on and to feed the world. So get behind these kids and support them and do all you can. You don't know who the next Troy Thomas or the next Travis Pembroke is out here, but I bet they're here. There's a tremendous amount of potential. And I think it's more important than what they're leading. It's the kids leading these steers that are going to make the difference. Because there's all different opinions in these steers, and that's fine. I got asked to come out here and judge the cattle, and that's all I'm here to do. But I'm also, you know, when you get into it, you want to build these kids up. And there's kids that close the gate today on classes that could be the leaders someday. So stand behind all of them and encourage them. And I just think we're in a really, really great position. And I think more than ever, you need to go back home and fight for what you got and fight for ag. And no place knows that better than Colorado. You know, I referenced those two guys who have services this week. And in all their write-ups, you don't hear them say, oh, he could talk a set of reasons like nobody I've ever heard. None of that. It's that guy was a good stockman that looked out for the youth. And that's all we can do, or else none of this is worth it. I'm going to go out and pick you some champions. I'm going to say some things changed since they come back out here in the Grand Drive, probably from what I went back over thinking or during the break. You never give up to the end. You keep working on them and do what you can. And when they get out here, I think they sort themselves out extremely good. But maybe not the biggest steer show you ever had, but I bet there hadn't been many more, any higher quality. And one other thing with these kids is get them up to Denver and support the National Western. That's the best thing Colorado's got going for you. And right there, out of there, you could change the political climate of this whole state if you get all these kids active at it.
Congratulations to Mr. Jake King from Cope, Colorado in Washington County. Let's give him a big hand. A beautiful, beautiful steer. Congratulations, Mr. King. Reserve is Cal Sidwell from Gill, Colorado in Weld County. He's had a hell of a 25 Colorado State Fair. Congratulations to Jake King and Cal. I think we're going to line up third through fifth. Third through fifth. Violet McQuate is your third overall steer for the 2025 Colorado State Fair. She gets her mail in Byers, Colorado, and joins 4-H in Douglas County. Adley Block. She's from Eckley, Colorado, in Yuma County. She is your 4th high steer at the Colorado State Fair. And your 5th overall steer for the 2025 Colorado State Fair Market Beef, Dylan Stone from Weld County. Congratulations to these young people. It's been a very high quality market beef show this year at the 2025 Colorado State Fair. Before Jason Hoffman drives off, when you see him, let's give him a handshake, please. He did a hell of a job for us today, and we sure appreciate his expertise and his opinion. He's a heck of an evaluator, in my opinion, and to take time out off of his place to drive down, and I think he's going to drive back. We sure appreciate his time and knowledge.